The Atlantic Ocean, a place where beauty meets absolute terror. Imagine being trapped in this endless darkness aboard a tiny vessel fighting the rage of nature. No one can hear you scream. It was 4:30 a.m., May 26, 2013. Harrison Okene, the 29-year-old cook of the tugboat Gascon 4, was awake before everyone else. He was in the kitchen, unaware that in just a few minutes, his life would change forever. Suddenly, chaos erupted. A massive rogue wave, like a wall of water, smashed into the ship. The impact was so violent that the vessel lost its balance. Harrison tried to run, but the force of the water was unstoppable. The ship capsized and began its plummet into the abyss. Harrison was tossed through the corridors as water rushed in, dragging him down. The ship hit the ocean floor with a deafening crash, 30 meters deep, buried in total darkness. When the noise finally stopped, Harrison found himself in an upside-down cabin. The freezing water had risen to his neck. He gripped the metal pipes and realized he was trapped in a small air pocket. This tiny bubble was the only thing standing between him and death. But how long could it last? The oxygen was limited, and the darkness was thick like tar. Outside the wreck, on the ocean floor, a deadly silence took over. Soaked, shivering, and alone, Harrison could only hear his own breathing. Seconds turned into minutes, and minutes dragged into hours. The water level was slowly rising, shrinking his breathing space. Harrison began to pray. He recited verses from the Psalms, while his hope, just like the oxygen in the room, was fading away, breath by breath. But the darkness wasn't Harrison's only enemy. He began to hear sounds that froze the blood in his veins, the sound of heavy thuds and creatures circling the wreckage. Large fish and sharks had entered the ship to feed on the aftermath of the disaster. Harrison knew that his colleagues, his friends, were now prey. He tried to focus on his family to keep from losing his mind. Hours passed. He had been underwater for nearly 60 hours. The air was becoming toxic with carbon dioxide. Harrison started hallucinating, seeing strange lights. His body was giving up. Just as he thought the end had come, he heard a sound, a hammer striking metal. Not the sound of a fish, but the sound of a human. Harrison listened with the last bit of his strength. Was this real? On the surface, a dive team had been deployed, but not for a rescue mission. They were only there to recover the bodies. The divers descended, their flashlights cutting through the murky gloom. Harrison saw the light, a faint reflection on the black water. He tried to scream, but his voice was too weak. The diver was swimming past the cabin, completely unaware of Harrison's presence. This was his last chance. Harrison plunged his hand into the water and reached for the light. When his cold, black hand grabbed the diver's arm, the diver froze in absolute terror. The diver thought a corpse had drifted into him, but when Harrison squeezed his arm, he screamed over the comms, "He's alive! He is alive!" It was one of the most shocking moments in the history of deep-sea operations. The rescue team couldn't believe it. They quickly fitted Harrison with an oxygen mask. His first deep breath in 3 days tasted like life itself. But the danger wasn't over. Harrison's body was saturated with nitrogen. If he surfaced too fast, his blood would boil, killing him instantly. They had to move him with extreme caution. They transferred him into a diving bell, an elevator to the surface.
He not only survived the wreck, but had to spend another 2 days in a decompression chamber on the deck to normalize his body pressure. When he finally emerged from that metal tube, the world heard the story of the man who cheated death. He was still clutching his Bible, wet but safe in his hands. Of the 12 crew members aboard the Gascon 4, Harrison Okene was the sole survivor. The other 11 were lost to the sea. Harrison vowed never to return to the ocean again. Experts say his survival was a mix of perfect physics and pure miracle. Harrison's story reminds us that even in the deepest, darkest moments of despair, there is always a glimmer of hope.